Bob and Ron.
Bob and Ron.
It's Bob and Ron.
I don't know Bob and Ron.
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 I love Bob and Ron.
Now here are Bob and Ron, the definition of high radio.
Put your headphones on, get ready to go. Prepare yourself for a stereo show. The whole world's mad for the modernized sound of the stereo disc and the tape with the earphones, bass on the left side, singing on the right side. La 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 la.
Well, let the great experiment begin!
I can't believe it. We're back.
Sort of.
Well,
we're not back in the studio.
No. We're back in your heads.
Hopefully.
That is Bob over there.
And that is Ron.
And I am Ron.
And we do point a lot on the show. You're just going to miss out on some of those great visuals. But I was pointing at him when I said that.
Right.
Everything is real on the show, people. Get used to that right
this
away.
This is a reality-based podcast. Yes, we are in your head, especially if you're listening to headphones. You know, when me and Bob were setting up, isn't it weird hearing your voice in headphones?
I don't like it at all. It makes me too aware of my voice, and I'm like, wait, do I usually talk this loud?
Right.
Don't I usually have a British accent? Do I blink when I talk? And like all these things like that pop
Can you
into
hear
my
me
head.
blinking?
And I really don't need it. You're right across. This is bringing back a total flashback, not an acid flashback, but one to when I was a small child and I used to make microphones out of construction paper and sit in my friend's bedroom and we play radio when we were about 6 years old. And
right.
This is basically the same thing. Except for no offense, my mics even looked a little nicer.
Oh, well, hey, man.
You got a bite taken out of your
Well, in my foam. It looks like either a rodent or maybe probably a dog. I take back the rodent thing. We don't have mice here at the clubhouse, but we do have dogs. You might hear dogs in the background sometimes.
There's a couple wandering around now.
They're just wandering around. So if you do hear that, that is kind of cool when you're listening to something, music or a podcast, and you hear like the phone ringing, and you always think it's your phone, or you hear a dog, and you're like, "What? There's a dog in this house?"
Or a woman getting stabbed to death during roller coaster.
Of
the
love,
Ohio players.
Of love, right? Exactly. So this is Bob and Ron's Record Club. This is our podcast. This is the episode 1.
See, podcast, that's key because podcast has whole different rules from the radio. We can swear, but
that's right.
I don't know.
Shit. I mean, I had to get it out there.
You're going to be the potty mouth of the.
Well, I had to get it out there. I had to. I've been waiting all these years.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll happen soon, but I'm going to try to let it happen naturally. But now, I don't know, just being in front of a microphone with cans on. Oh, I'm sorry, headphones for you people that don't have podcasts.
Right.
Are there anybody that doesn't have a podcast?
That's the thing. Everybody does have a podcast.
We try to get a guest, but everyone else is doing their own podcast.
Sorry, I'm busy. Busy.
We might have someone else doing their podcast while we do ours at the same time, just at the same table.
That's
here.
like meta.
That's about the only way it's going to happen.
Podcast within a podcast within a podcast. Yeah, that would be great.
What did I hear? It's like some comedian said the new jury duties, your friend asking you to be on their podcast. So I don't know. We haven't tried getting any guests yet, but
I think we're going to
start reaching out to our Facebook fans, our Twitter fans.
Right. Speaking of which, we do have a Facebook. I mean, we've had a Facebook for a while.
Yeah, we're trying to make it an analog Facebook, but right now it's still a digital type.
So it's facebook.com. /Bob and Ron's Record Club. I mean, it's...
See, here's the brilliance of it. We have
amazing.
a Facebook and a Twitter, but we're not like other people where our Twitter's just like, hey, check what I posted on Facebook now. It's I run the Twitter, Ron runs the Facebook.
Exactly.
There you go.
Exactly.
You get the whole show in 2 separate places. Different things are going on.
Different content. But,
so it pays to look at them.
And it is, we do put stuff up a lot. I'll put up full record streams that I found on YouTube or cool concert videos.
Yeah, concert video. Like I'll stay up at 6 in the morning looking through hundreds of crap videos to find the 2 that you should probably watch.
Right. I'm
saving you a lot of time. People.
Exactly. I'm not just putting up the first Spirit thing that I could find. I'm doing research, and this is years of research.
Right. Checking it out, saying, is there a good digital copy out there?
It's like I was just watching the other day. I was looking for, I put up songs here and there, and I want to put up a song by Sparks because I'd listened to that album Indiscreet, which is a great album.
That's a band we're going to have to teach people about, I think, because the radio has totally let us all down on that. How much Sparks have you ever heard in your life on the radio?
None.
I don't think I ever have.
None. But none. It's really sad. But so I was looking for a Sparks video to play, and I was looking for the specific one when they're on Don Kirshner's rock concert.
Oh,
which is a great performance, and I just couldn't find it. But in the process of that, I found all these other cool little things that they did in on German television. So I did tons of research just to find that perfect clip to post.
Right. The one that might win over the non-fan, not the weird one. And if we do post something, we usually put some context to it, too, so you know what you're going to see. Check it out. And we're not going to... Well, I guess we will toot our own horn because, like we said, there's no guests here today. But we've been retweeted by Ricky Lee Jones, Bootsy Collins. I just like saying that. Oh, Bootsy.
Yeah.
Oh, retweedle-deedle, yo. It's like, that guy's great, though. And so anyways, we used to do a radio show where we play actual music from our record collections, which has nonstop growing since we've been off the air. It's almost taken over my apartment.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we had to separate and get separate apartments because of the size of our record collection.
Well, it's kind of like the president and vice president can't be in the same place at the same time. All our records, they can't be in the same place because, God forbid, if anything were to happen and all that wax disappeared.
Right.
It's over. That's history.
I mean, years and years of research and digging through dusty crates and moldy records and estate sales and garbage bins. I mean, speaking of
I went to my uncle's this week. I drove out to some other land, some other world where there's still Arby's. I mean, that's how far out west I was. I mean, I think I saw more Iowa plates than I saw Illinois plates out there. And I picked up a crate, well, I should say crates, like 6 crates of records.
Wow.
Sansui tube amp.
Right.
Sansui speakers. These are from like the 60s, and they got like a wood, those speakers that had the wood like lattice work in front of it, not just like the foam. Yes. This has the wood lattice work. There's like one little piece broken. No. I looked at him like, you had these things, because he was in the Air Force like in Germany, and I'm like, you had this all that time from the 60s on us, and you broke one little piece. I'm like, I got a good feeling that some of your records might be in good condition.
Wow. So how many records did you score?
I would say, including every record, good, bad, the ugly, probably around 500. I'm really bad at estimating. You think by now I would know like how much per foot or something, but
because 12-inch record has a certain width of a spine,
right?
You put a bunch of them together, you measure it with the tape measure. A foot is how many records? What do you think?
I have no. See, I should know
40?
this.
Is it 40? 30?
30 or 40 sounds
we're going to have to figure that out. We'll get back to you.
See, that's something we should know. That should be a unit of measurement we use all the time in our daily discussions.
Exactly.
I don't care about the people out there, but we should be using it all the time.
Right. It's like, okay, so it was 2 feet of records, so that means there were,
Yeah, we know exactly. Although, of course, your imports got the thin spines.
Right,
and
there's double albums.
Thick,
Then Chicago 4, that's, box set.
Oh, my God. Chicago. By the way, we did get retweeted by Danny Serafini on Chicago because I said we will win the Stanley Cup because the band named after our city kicks the crap out of the band named after Boston. Boston. Well, first of all, if it was a fist fight, Chicago's got like what 8, 9 guys, 7, 8, 9 guys. I don't even know exactly.
Bob, I have no idea.
Boston's basically one guy in his basement originally, so I think we'd kick the crap out of them. They did put together a touring band once the album came out.
Who, Boston?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they had that drummer with that huge afro. So
that would absorb the punches, you're saying?
Right, exactly. It's kind of like, the foam on a microphone. It's amazing. Like how this absorbs the pops in your keys.
You know what we don't have here, though, is a cough button.
Oh, that's true. Well, there's no need for it. If you have to cough, just lean back and let it
let's see what happens.
Man. Go ahead. See, it's no big deal.
Really, you don't really hear that,
right?
So the radio station paid, $1.2 million for that cough button for no reason. We could have just turned our head,
right? Just turn your head and cough.
Oh, hey, easy, buddy. This is not that type of podcast.
Sorry. So people might, if this is your first time, like hearing our voices or hearing of us, we got our start way back when. Tell them the story, Bob, will you?
Oh, jeez.
Well,
this story, it actually started up in that, bedroom probably when we were little kids, and then it just moved on until the day someone finally understood what we were trying to do by getting good music on the radio, and it was Steve Dahl.
Right.
It was through a mixtape. That's how you win anyone's heart.
Going back,
through
before we get to that, what started as me and Bob used to live together a long time ago, and I had this band, and me and Bob would meet and have these quote unquote. I'm doing that with my fingers, which I dislike, but
no, I like it. It's good for me.
Okay, well, it works.
This
for Bob.
Isn't all for the people listening. Some of it's for us.
So we used to have these record club meetings, which is really just an excuse for us to go do bongs in my bedroom and listen to a record that I just got.
Back when we needed excuses,
right? We needed an excuse to go. Anyways. So we'd have these record club meetings, and it just grew out of that. We were both record collectors. We were both.
And I had been a long time harasser of program directors. Even before I met Ron, I had Patty. was Patty Hayes one time.
Right.
I was demanding she play South Side of the Sky by Yes.
Oh, man.
I'm like, can you just play South Side of the Sky by Yes?
No, I can't play.
It sounds like all the other songs you play by Yes. People love the Roundabout. People love all this other. Can you just please play this?
Right.
And I just kept calling, and then she just went off.
Right.
She's like, I'm never playing that fucking song again as long as I'm on the radio in Chicago. She's just like swearing her ass off at me. And I was just like, I swear to God, as a young, like, as a kid, just thinking, like, wait, why? I thought they would be really happy to play a good song. You know, I was like, you asked for a request. Here's a request.
Right. Play it.
I'm sorry, I only can request Roundabout, you bitch.
Oh, I know. Right. No, I know.
Finally got her comeuppance from me.
Finally. Yeah, I mean,
35 years later.
We were both huge radio geeks, really into, both talk radio, music radio, all, anything that came out of that little box, and just the magic of radio that these signals could be in the air, and
it's free.
And it's free. It was
music.
Free. It was
the
free.
best thing in the universe, music, and they're giving it away free. And somehow these clowns running the thing now are killing it. How can you kill radio?
Right.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
But hey, man,
that's who we got to have as some guests. I'm like program directors.
Right.
I know people on podcasts probably don't even know what radio is, but I'd still just like to just talk to some of these people that just sat at the board and watched radio eat its own tail for the last 30 years.
So me and Bob through persistence and stalking.
Fine line.
Very fine
line. We went after Dahl.
We went after Dahl.
You know why? Because every day his show's something different. Imagine if he just told the same story every day. The same 3 stories every day, the same way, the same time, same thing every day.
Right.
That's what FM radio is. That's what music radio is. It's the same songs, same time, every day, the same way.
But
oh my God.
But listening to Steve every day, which we both did for years and years before approaching him. The great thing about Steve is his taste in music, and it was totally aligned with ours. And
we're like, he'll get it. He'll get going a little deeper. We're not, we play Funk 48 instead of Funk 49 by James Gang. Is that so crazy? But I swear to God, when we would talk to program directors around, they'd freak out. Like, you can't do that. Right. You just can't do that. I'm like, why not? It doesn't work. I'm like, well, where hasn't it worked? Well, no one's tried it. I'm like, well, don't you think after 30 years playing the same classic rock, people are ready for maybe 2 more Hendrix songs? I mean, they stuck with you on the same 3 you've been playing. Why not?
So we approached Steve and
with a mixtape.
With a mixtape.
Right to his heart, baby.
And there was a song on there by this band, Spirit, which me and Bob both
Now,
loved.
are you playing it now, or I'm just hearing it? You're telling the story so good.
and it's a song, it was on an album called The 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus, and it was this little song called Mr. Skin. And I'll never forget giving the tape to Steve, and he looked at the tape, and he looks up at us with that look in his face.
He's like, Mr. Skin.
He's just like, oh, Mr. Skin.
All right. And I got photographic proof of that. There's a picture of him looking at the tape with that look in his eye at the time. That's when the picture's taken. He's looking at the mixtape, looking up. Now, can we find the picture? That's a whole other question.
Yeah, because then that's the other thing. With collections this size, both records and different media, Bob collects tons of other stuff. Bob collects everything.
Some people call it junk.
Right. Some would call Bob a hoarder.
Some would.
I collect magazines, books. I'm a little bit more organized. Would you?
Right.
Do you agree with that? Or?
Oh, definitely. It's Felix and Oscar up in here. And I'm the sports writer laying in bed with all my clothes and pizza crust for some reason.
Right.
No, I'm pretty much, I admit, I'm like a hoarder, except for I don't have like the dead animals on the bottom layer. I don't even have layers of anything. I have paths, I have clear runs, but when you pick up, 6 crates of records in a day, 2 big Sansui speakers, and a nice, a tube amp, it takes up some space.
Right. Well,
I'll find space for it.
Yeah. Some would call it trash. A lot of this stuff that we collect.
Some did call it trash because I got it from the trash. And I looked it up on eBay. This Marantz amp I got the other day went for $980 on eBay. So who's trash now, huh?
Right.
Bitch. Yeah. See, there's some gratuitous swearing for you.
So that's New York Dolls, of course, with their song "Trash."
Yeah. By the way, when you played the Spirit before, we should really highlight the fact that if you do collect records and you do not have the 12 Dreams of Dr. Sardonicus, you should really. Can they pause podcasts? I don't even know how this stuff works. I'm analog. I'm all analog, baby.
You can pause it.
All right, so pause it and go buy it right now.
I don't suggest it, but.
Oh, I do. You want to make this last. You don't just want
Savor
bobbing around just to go by in 40 minutes or whatever it is. You want it to last and last.
Yeah.
But go buy it, seriously. And now, the original label will be a yellow Epic label.
Right. So
they later had an orange one with the little circles. You don't want that. They had a black one or a dark blue one.
Dark blue, right?
You don't want that. I mean, now, I guess you want whatever you can get, but we just like to get the originals because we know that's what came out when the artists themselves, made the record. And they always sound better, I think, 9 times out of 10, unless there was a pressing error on the first pressing.
I would say 9 times out of 10, the first pressing of a record is the best quality.
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't been remastered, which sometimes it does benefit. But most times, in the records we love, we want the original copy, first pressing, original label. It's got to be. It's got to be the real deal,
So, yeah, the 12 Dreams, look for that in the yellow Epic.
Yellow Epic.
Same thing you want, Sly and the Family Stones. You want all those on the yellow Epic.
Oh, I forgot to mention, what is our Twitter account?
It's Bob and Ron. Bob and Ron's LP Club. It's Bob, B-O-B-N-R-O-N. Bob and Ron. That's pretty easy.
Isn't it Bob and Ron?
Ron's, right.
So start over.
Sorry.
This is so confusing.
Right.
We couldn't...
We could edit this all out, but we're lazy.
I'm not.
And we're keeping it real. No, we're keeping it real.
Right. So it's Bob and Ron's, B-O-B-N-R-O-N-S, Bob and Ron's LP, the letters, Club. Bob and Ron's LP Club. That's our Twitter handle.
Easy. And I think if you just typed in Bob and Ron's Record Club, I bet you in the search, I bet you'd pop up.
I don't know. We'll have to try it. We'll have to try it. I don't really know. But
and then I got my own Twitter. Believe it or not, it's really freaking around out because I am not on. I still have dial-up. I don't go on the internet.
Bob's email is an AOL address. That's how. Bob. I don't. Bob has dial-up, and
I don't use it.
That's not an exaggeration.
I got a
using
phone
that for comedic effect. He actually has dial-up.
I got a Samsung phone from somebody for free, and I'm like, well, I always wanted to follow Steve Martin on Twitter, so I decided to follow him.
Right, the real Steve Martin.
Yeah,
right?
And then it just grew from there. There were other people. I'm like, oh, they're on Twitter, and then I was like, well, let's just pretend our record club. Well, not pretend. In our mind, Bob and Ron's Record Club was always going on.
That's the thing.
And the Twitter feed was just what was going on at the club.
Exactly. See, the show never went off. I mean, it went off the physical air.
Oh yeah, you guys couldn't hear it,
but we could.
Yeah,
it
doesn't matter. It went on long before we met any of you people, and it's going to go long on after you're
gone. The show was going on before we met Steve. It went on for the whole time we were on the air. We were on the air for a long time.
There's some argument. Was this show here before the Earth was here?
Exactly.
It's very philosophical.
Oh man,
there's really no beginning or end to the Bob and Ron's Record Club. It's always going on.
That's true. At least in our heads.
Just at some points, it's way more boring than others.
Right.
This is the exciting times.
Is it though?
That's what you're hearing right now.
Really,
the
Bob?
White hot excitement of talking about collecting crap. But there's a lot of people. I mean, look at all those shows, those pickers and stuff.
Right.
Because the only reason I know about that, I don't even have cable. I keep an analog. I got rabbit ears. By the way,
so do I.
On Twitter, if you hashtag rabbit ears, you don't know if it's rabbi tears or rabbit ears. I love hashtags that are like that. It can be like 2 different words. But see, now I just totally lost the train of thought.
So the reason I brought up the whole Twitter, Facebook thing, there's ways to get in touch with
them.
a
reason.
Yeah,
Sweet.
And I want you guys to, if you're hearing the show and it sounds okay, if you have any suggestions or questions about records.
Yeah, if your suggestions either get rid of Bob or get rid of Ron, save it.
Save that.
Those, we've already taken that under advisement and decided against it. We're going to keep ourselves.
Right, exactly.
Okay, so next.
But if you want to know about which is the first pressing of a certain record, which is
what's it worth?
Which is the best record in the Kinks catalog, give us, just any question music related, come to us. We will do our best to give you an answer and perhaps a funny story about it. I don't know if it'll be funny to you, but it'll be funny to us.
Or we'll just give you good information. It's going to be interesting, funny, or entertaining, hopefully.
One of those three.
But never all at the same time, though. Never.
No.
That'd be too much.
No.
But as I was talking about before, I saw that show Pickers, and the only reason I did, because I was talking about I still have the rabbit ears, I don't have cable, is because I had to go somewhere to watch the Hawks game. I'm a huge Hawks fan. Yeah. Blackhawks, that is, people. They're a hockey machine. But anyways, so... But, after the game, before the game, during commercials, I'd switch over, and American Pickers was always on. And, man, dude, let's do that. Let's just do a podcast. Let's just drive around and just go up to old people's houses and buy stuff.
Absolutely. If you guys have record collections that are
But I don't want to have a store where we have to sell it. No, somebody else can open a store and we'll be your
There's
pickers.
records in your apartment, in your attic, in your basement that you just are sick of looking at, want to get rid of. We'll gladly come and take them from you.
We'll haul that junk out of there for you.
Junk, exactly.
Yeah, get it out of there.
Exactly.
Stupid records taking up so much space.
Right.
Their stupid round stupidness.
We'll pick it up. We'll take those. We'll take them away. Okay. I know. Sorry, so, I still had it queued up. I'm sorry.
So anyways, we were talking also before how we met Steve and we first hooked up, and he was the one that gave us our first chance. Although it wasn't the rock show. We had to do a Fish show for years.
There's a band Fish.
And now we got a rock show again, but we can't play music because it's a podcast. But people, you're going to contact Dick Durbin or your local senators, and you're going to get Congress to change it for us.
Bob's going to Washington. He's going to.
Oh, I am.
Bob's going to be. I'm just a Bob.
He is only. Can you sing?
No.
Schoolhouse Rock?
No, Schoolhouse Rock. That's copyright.
I don't know what all that.
Get the lawyers on.
I just have a feeling we're going to send this to Steve and say, "Do you want to run this?" He's going to be like, "Well, I wish I could, but my lawyer said no."
Right.
If you wouldn't have sung the Schoolhouse Rock parody to "I'm Just a Bob," you would have had it.
Right.
But Ron had to go over the line with his political comedy, his cutting edge political comedy.
Yep, bleeding edge.
But the thing was, Steve also actually did ask us to do this podcast. We're not just doing this cold. And let's call it his Satanic Majesty's request. We're doing it for Steve. See, there's a little record. Did you guys get that?
Right. See,
that was a Stones record. Everybody
says
sucks.
Right.
Her Satanic Majesty's request. Right. But that record is kick-ass.
No, okay, the record Bob's referencing is the Stones' psychedelic record. Everyone made a psychedelic.
Oh, yeah. Anybody cool.
That's right. And, people always say, it's one of the worst. Stones, people say it's the worst Stones album.
Oh, and for years. It's starting to get a little bit more love, but I swear to God, I think that's because we just talked about it all the time on our radio show. Maybe some kids heard that and they're starting to spread around. That's one of the best, acid records out there. And it's right up there with After Bathing at Baxter's and things like that. And it's cool. I don't know. It's what they were doing. It's of the time. Absolutely. There's some great songs on there. 2,000 Light Years from Home. She's a Rainbow.
Yeah, it's
2,000 Man. The Citadel. There's great stuff on there.
That's right.
And there's goofball stuff.
Right. So yeah, every band made their psychedelic record. Every single band. Tommy James and the Shondells, of course, made psychedelic records.
Hello, Banana.
I wish we could play these songs. Maybe we'll put in a little snippet of these songs.
Well, yeah, at least just that lyric, because that is one of our favorite lyrics ever. Just "Hello, banana, I am a tangerine."
One thing I did want to do, since I have the Boro 1900 hooked up. The Boro 1900 is our supercomputer that we load all our vinyl into, and all our intros and outros and little drops. But I have a stereo test that, if people are listening to this on headphones, or if they're listening to this at home, all you have to do is just, we have a...
We're going to check a right and left?
Right, we're checking. This is a left side, right side test.
Right side.
That was right.
Okay, so if you have your headphones
on... That's right on my headphones.
Yeah. I always like to,
CKG was backwards. Their board was, remember?
Oh, yeah,
we do test records and we go home, it was opposite.
See, the thing is,
we had so many steps in transferring our records. Who knows?
Man. Yeah.
So now people at home got to say if it's not. Okay, let's let it go.
Right side.
And okay, I'm also a record.
If that's not right,
I'm a
let
record
us know,
producer.
people.
I've produced records and engineered records, and when I pan a guitar to the left, right, that's us. When I pan a guitar to the left and I pan a vocal to the right, and then I do it on purpose. It's not.
You didn't just slip on the board?
Right, exactly. Oh. So, when people listen to music, I
thought nowadays all they did was push a button that said bigger. Just everything bigger and louder. And it's
so I like to test
my
like system.
You still using a pan.
Exactly. I like to test my system before I listen to music. It's weird, I know, but if something was meant to be panned on the left or panned on the right, you want your headphones or your speakers set up correctly, don't you?
Right.
Is that crazy?
Would you watch a film reversed?
Right. Well, would that really matter? Well,
yes,
the titles would be backwards.
Oh, it would be everything.
Would it?
The killer used his right hand, but I saw him use his left hand. What?
Would it? Well,
yeah, everything would be
a mirror image.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Right is left. Up is down. No, up is down in the mirror. But that would be cool. If you stood up and in the mirror, like your mirror image was going down.
Right.
but left is right. Well, whatever.
It's too much to think about.
I know we shouldn't see. We got to start our own science and philosophy podcast. There's going to be many spin-offs as we move on.
Right. One thing.
Let's edit this down into different shows. All right, we talked about dog. Make that our dog podcast. Make that our stupid philosophy podcast.
So Bob walks dogs.
Yes, I do.
I think that's kind of a well-known thing. Bob's a dog walker. I used to dog walk myself.
You couldn't cut it.
No,
You couldn't cut
that's
it.
not true at all.
You couldn't cut it on the mean streets. You couldn't take the dirty business that those dogs do. They do a lot of business. You couldn't take it.
But I still do watch dogs in my home. I board them.
That's nice.
Yeah, right. When
Well, you should get them a toy. They wouldn't be so bored.
Woo! But I
save that for the dog podcast.
Exactly, and I do board them when I'm not on tour with my band. We do a lot. I'm in a band, I guess.
Oh,
right?
Mariachi?
Yeah.
Do you play one of those really big acoustic guitars?
Oh, I would love to try playing.
Looks like they're basically playing a stand-up bass, but guitar style.
I would love to try that. But if you want to check out my band, you could go to our Facebook page and check out all the information there.
What's her name?
Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos. I know it's a terrible long name. But, you could check out that Facebook page.
That is the real name. He didn't just trail off at the end and get bored with the name. Like Margot and the Nuclear So-and-Sos. And the Blotty-Blahs. What? Let me say it.
So, as I was saying, you could either tweet at us, Bob and Ron's LP Club. Bob and Ron's LP Club.
You know what? If you can't remember that, I got my own Twitter. It's at Kick It Up a Nacho.
How could you forget that?
Right. Go there. Kick It Up a Nacho.
Go to our Facebook.
Ask me, go, what the hell is the Bob and Ron one? And, follow them both, whatever. The Kick It Up a Nacho lately has been very, very hockey heavy. All Blackhawks all the time. I'm going to... last night, the Hawks went up 3-2 in the series. I don't know when this will, you'll be hearing this, but at this point, the Hawks are up 3-2 in the series, and the Boston people on Twitter just freaked out. I just wish there was an app where I could hear their Boston accent while they were, screaming and swearing at me. They're just going nuts. They're just going so nuts, and they were so cocky a couple of games ago. That's what Twitter's for, I think.
This is our first podcast. This is episode 1, and I guess we'll keep track, right? We'll keep track. We'll number them. Is that what we're going to do?
I guess so. Well, I guess there's got to be some way to refer to it.
Right.
It's so just there's a
so
title.
This is episode right.
Yeah,
right.
episode
1. Where
Oh, you know what we didn't mention? I don't know. Have you been timing any of this?
No, not at all. Oh. I mean,
all right. Well, anyways, we did not mention one of the big things. One of the reasons we might not need a cough button. We both quit smoking.
That's right.
I mean, that's huge. I was smoking for 28 years. I've never even tried to quit before because I really didn't want to quit.
Right. What's the point?
Right.
I loved it.
It's like, oh, you live longer. Great. I don't have any retirement savings. Why do I want to live longer? I'm trying to cut down on expenses, not add another 20 years.
Right.
If you're paying my rent for that 20 years, fine.
It's like we're both heavy smokers. We were smokers.
Yeah, I smoked a pack a day. Smoked a pack
Me
a
too.
day. But there's some people that smoke 3-4 packs a day. And I don't know.
That's crazy.
Were they robbing diamond stores to pay for that habit? But, yeah, so one time I kind of tried to quit. I was like, I spend I think at this point I was spending like $3 a day on cigarettes. And I was like, I'll try to cut it in half. So every day I put $1.50 in this jar or something. It was something like that. And after a couple months, I felt like, all right, things are going well. Let's see how much money I saved. It was like, $26. And I was like, this is nothing. This isn't even a night out. I'm like, screw it. I'm going to go buy some smokes with this money. But
I got to relax. I need a cigarette.
Now, this time, I have not bought a pack of cigarettes since, I think it was like the last day of March or something. So that's I think $840 I've saved at $10 a pack. And they're actually closer to about $12 a pack.
Right.
At $840, with that money, I bought a ticket to see the Stones.
Right, which cost a fortune.
I've seen the Hawks playoff game.
What?
I've gotten tons of records. I went nuts on eBay. What I'd do is every week I would spend $70 on records, and I'd do it ahead of time because I don't have money. Like, it's either going to go for cigarettes or records.
Right.
What's already in the records, I got no choice. And then, then I'd have these great records. I mean, you can buy a lot of records for $70 a week.
If you're smoking out there, and just think about this. It's like you're just smoking and it's gone. If you're taking that money and you're buying something tangible, like a record or a book or something, we prefer records, obviously, because we collect them. But, it's something tangible that you'll keep forever. And it's just like not throwing your money away. It's the same thing about like renting, renting an apartment. It's like It's like I just feel like I'm throwing my money away.
But the big collapse, though, the last few years, we've been making out like bandits.
Well, that's
all
true.
The smart people say you should be renting.
I don't have to pay
and
property
we were
taxes
renting even before people knew you should have been renting.
Right,
we were already renting, so there you go.
But yeah, I just not just of course the monetary.
Well, here's the thing.
Pluses. I could breathe. I could run upstairs.
Oh yeah, you had asthma. You have asthma. Are you using your inhaler less? Or?
Well, yeah. I'm definitely using it less.
We haven't quit smoking jazz cigarettes. Well, just make it clear to the people if anyone just fell out of their beanbag chair. But hopefully, no matter how shocking we are, beanbag chairs are safe enough where you usually don't fall out of them.
And that's a good thing about beanbag chairs, and that's why people used to get stoned and sit in them.
Right, because if your mind was blown, you wouldn't fall out of your chair.
You just kind of like crumple and ruffle a little bit. Maybe you'll stick to it a little because you're a little sweaty.
But here's the thing about the cigarettes, dude. All right, even at $10, all right, which is underpriced for cigarettes in Chicago, I got on eBay with shipping and everything. The Moves Looking On, original on Capitol, sweet copy for the price of a pack of cigarettes. Right. So I could either light that album up and smoke it, or that's basically what I was doing. I was just taking the Moves Looking On and burning it in a pile every day. I would never burn records.
Right.
Well, if Disco Demolition, I would have gone on the field for that, but I wasn't allowed there. That was the only record burning we've ever endorsed.
Looking On? Oh, yeah.
Are you kidding me? You just called that up there?
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's a live call-up, people. See, the show's getting already smoother as we go along.
Yeah. Oh, man. The Move, great band. That's Roy Wood on lead vocals, who also, he's kind of known as like the founder of ELO.
Mm-hmm.
Him and Jeff Lynne started ELO together, but this is
And then Jeff Lynne stole it from him. Well, I think Roy Wood wanted to go do Wizard also, which, put out some cool stuff. I mean, he put out some good solo stuff, too. Actually, not as much money. He did not make as much money. No.
But, those Roy Wood solo records are great, actually.
Cheap Trick, huge Move fans.
Absolutely.
When I met him, I talked to him about the Move, and they backed him, or Roy Wood, at a show in New York one time. They were his backing band, and I would love. Anybody got the bootleg of that out there? Anybody?
Man,
send it to
so
us.
Cool.
What's our Facebook again, Ron? We should do that one.
Facebook is Bob and Ron's Record Club. Facebook.
All right.
Oh yeah. What is it? it's Facebook.com. Bob and Ron's.
People know what they're doing, right? People know. I just assume people know more about Facebook than we do. I mean, we're still trying to get our AOL fan page up.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Cheap Trick. The first concert I ever saw was Cheap Trick in 1981 at Mayor Jane Burns Chicago Fest.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And the coolest thing about it, through collecting bootlegs and all this, at first I found the bootleg of it. And I was like, I can't believe it. I get to hear the first concert ever.
Right.
And then I actually found a DVD of it.
No.
Yeah. So I actually have a DVD of the first concert I was ever at.
See, that's too cool.
Pretty awesome.
Well, my first concert was the Ramones at College of DuPage. I think it was Building K or L or something. It was where they kept the old pop machines and the old cafeteria tables just stacked up. There were about maybe 25 people there. And if anybody taped that, please send it to me. I doubt they did, though. But I still have the they had like about a 8x14 handbill that they passed out.
Yeah.
And I took they had a stack of them on a table on your way out. I could have taken 100 of them.
Right.
Probably took like 5, What was I thinking? Before I really hoarded things, I guess. And I turned some of them into book covers. They made perfect book covers.
Right.
I got one still in a frame. That is in nice shape. And maybe I'll actually tweet that out on our Twitter.
Right, Twitter. That'd be great. You should do that.
Bob and Ron's
LP Club.
Do
you know how to take a picture and then tweet it out?
Well, actually, my camera stopped working.
Oh, great.
But I have pictures that I took before
you don't
it
use
stopped
an actual
working.
camera, Bob. You use the phone itself.
Right. The camera stopped working on the phone.
Camera inside your phone.
Yeah. So, but I took a picture of it earlier, so I still have it in my files. The picture of the Ramones poster, so I can tweet that out.
So cool.
I never see. I hoard even my digital files. I hoard. I use them once and then that's it. I mean, I got so many in there, it's just crazy. But yeah, Twitter's kind of fun though to talk back and forth with people because you just put up your message. They can look at it whenever they're it's if you don't feel like answering back, not like texting. You kind of expect an answer back with a text. I know your phone's in your hand, idiot. Just text back at least. I know you're not picking up, but can you text back? Something.
Right.
But, Twitter, it's not rude not to answer back because you might have tweeted and then that's it for the night. You might have put it down, It's not like you sit on, some people maybe sit on there all day. I don't. But when I listen to any record I play, I try to tweet it out from our place. Just now playing. That's what it means. You can't hear it anywhere,
right?
Of course, but
in
your head, it is actually being played in the whole record. We always listen to the records beginning to end. People.
Yeah, and a lot of times, when I remember, sometimes I sneak on the Twitter and I'll tweet out something if I find something really cool. I'm sorry, but usually what I'll do is I'll hashtag like BRRC, which is Bob and Ron's Record Club, and Bob will hashtag like now playing or. What was that?
Pen
broke. Did you break it?
No, it wasn't my finger. My pen. My pen.
So Bob's getting good at the hashtags, and it's just so fun for me to watch Bob go into the digital age and use technology.
Yeah,
it's just it is literally one of the funniest things because he is like he's like a caveman. I'm talking like you're not here.
I think it's stupid. I think until computers are smarter than me,
right?
Because if they have to ask me what file to open something up with and give me a choice of 80 files, what the hell, man? You tell me. So one time I sat there, I'm like, fine, all right, I'll try this one. No. I went through like 30 of them. I'm like, all right, if you know it's no, why don't you just give me the one that's yes, you motherfucker? There we go. There's my first swear on the podcast. At the computer.
Oh,
I hate them.
I was hoping that our first motherfucker would have been the kick out the jams motherfucker because we've never been able to play it. It's like liberating.
Is Spreaker going to come down and get us?
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
what is going on down there?
That is kind of weird. It would be even more liberating if we could play the whole song.
Oh, man, that'd be great. That'd be really sticking it to the man, but that man would be Steve Dahl. And that would
No. There's another man above. Steve didn't say we couldn't play it.
Right.
The man told Steve. Steve even has the man over him.
Oh, I know, but since this is on the Steve Dahl Podcast Network.
Uncle Sucker.
But since this is on the Steve Dahl Podcast Network, at least it is for now.
Are we totally free of the FCC rules here at all?
I don't know. Yeah,
everything?
I think so. I'm pretty sure we are.
Yeah, they can suck it.
Right.
That's right. Kind of controversy we're going to start on this podcast.
It's crazy.
That's as deep as I go with that's it.
Oh, man.
Suck it is as deep as I'll go. Oh, and another big thing that happened since we were last here.
Right.
And something I think all record collectors should know about. I got a record cleaning machine.
Oh, man.
It works.
Amazing. Yeah.
It works. I even cleaned records for Ron, and he can't do an A/B. I just picked up some records one day. He wasn't even home, and his girlfriend almost didn't let me, but then she did, which I think you should talk to her about. I don't think she should have.
I don't approve of it.
No, you actually told me I could come over. I did have permission, so I grabbed them.
Well, okay.
And I brought them home, and these were records I knew you'd know. Todd, the Ballad of Todd,
right?
A Revolver
my mono
UK edition that you found in the garbage.
Speaking
one of the best garbage finds in the history of records.
I think it's got to be up there with the. I mean, people.
It's like a $200 record.
Wow, and it was in the garbage, people.
And it's nice.
Garbage. And it's
mono, Revolver, British pressing.
Yeah, British pressing.
Unbelievable. What other ones you find in that trash?
Well, it was mono Revolver. It was mono Rubber Soul. And mono Help.
Jesus. That's so sweet.
So it was those three, and then there was a couple other. I mean, there were other records in there, but those were. I mean, and they were like perfect condition.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
so I took that one. I took a couple other 10cc sheet music.
Oh, great.
And something else, and I cleaned them at my house. So Ron couldn't A/B these. He just had to. When I brought him back, I'm like, I wonder if he'll know. I mean, I know he's got good ears with music. He knows these records. Well, I brought him back as soon as I put it on. He was just like, oh, my God. Yeah. He's like, I almost bought another copy of this the other day. He's like, now this is my copy.
Right. I mean, this is a worst band in the world from 10cc, from the record Sheet Music.
Get it.
So good. But yeah, Bob cleaned my copy, and which I thought was not the greatest copy, and now it's a keeper.
Yeah, it actually works. And like I said, if you quit smoking $10 a day, you can buy one in 2 months. 2 months you can buy it. I mean, they're expensive. Yeah, that's $600, people. They're expensive. And if you're thinking about getting one, give us write us, tweet us, whatever, and we'll walk you through it. Because I was obsessed with it, looking for one. I wound up ordering it from Missouri from this guy that I got real lucky. Just because of the package he gave with it with so much stuff, I was like, well, it's cheap. I mean, I'll pay for shipping because I'm getting so much stuff.
Sure.
And then it turns out that anyone I've ever seen complain about, I got a VPI 16.5.
Right.
Anyone
this is a nice record cleaner.
Yeah,
it's not
made
like
in America too. I felt good about buying something that expensive. Made in America.
Wave that flag, Bob.
Hey, you got if you can buy made in America, you'd be surprised how if everyone spends only $40 a year in America, how many jobs would be created. It's insane. So $600, that's big buy for me.
Is that a soapbox over there? What's going on? Okay, go ahead.
It just felt good.
No, I know.
Felt good. I didn't buy the Japanese one, but they've been around for years. But it works magic, dude.
Yeah. So what
and,
Bob was talking...
so the fluid I got, that's what I was going to say. The only people that ever complained about this machine, every single person that would write back on any audio forum said, try these fluids that you get from Osage Audio down in Missouri somewhere. I'll walk you through it if you need. This guy's awesome down there. He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
And he makes his own enzyme formulas that work on the record in fingerprints and oils and the proteins or whatever.
So now what Bob is talking about, let me just update. Bob is talking about a record cleaning machine. You put your record on it. It's a series of a wet cleaner and a vacuum. Am I correct?
Right. You put on the first step.
So you put the record on it. It looks like a record player kind of.
Right. It spins a little slower, about 18 RPM, and then you just spread it out with these brushes. It's pretty easy to do. Then you let it sit there and soak. Then you can go back and forth, maybe the brush, a light little brushing on it to lift up anything. And then I let it soak again, because if I'm going to do it, I'm going to, might as well really do it. Why even think about washing it twice? And then, you vacuum that up. That's the key, because the liquid gathers the tiny the microscopic particles into the way it bubbles up.
Right.
And then it lifts it off the record, and boom,
with
vacuum,
a vacuum
sucks that bubble right off, and boom, there goes the...
There's the
particulates.
particles, dust, whatever. Even it gets off grease and everything. I mean, it's amazing.
And then you have another step, and then another step after this, and
man.
then the last step with this ultra pure water that he makes down there, and it's supposed to be 500 times cleaner than distilled water.
He makes his own water?
Yeah, I've seen ultra. Scientists use it.
Yeah, it's a powder. You just add water.
You can't drink it though. It's ultra pure, yet you couldn't drink it. I think it would kill you if you drink it. I'm not sure about that, but I'm not going to test it.
Okay.
Somebody wants to come up and be like our crazy guy on our podcast that drinks and eats crazy things. You can drink some ultra pure water, and we'll see what happens. You got to be really fat, though.
Right. That's right. Why do they have to be fat? I
don't know.
Yeah. Oh, because
isn't that the way they used to do it? It's been a while since we've been on radio. I forget how we're supposed to do this.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, you could get in touch with us if you have any questions about record collecting, which about equipment to get. Since this is our first show, I just want to throw all these things out there.
Right, we throw a lot out, and we'll get into all of this and more, and repeat stuff and get in more.
This is just an overview of the things we'll be talking about.
Hopefully it was.
Well, hopefully.
I think it was. We covered a lot of bases.
Yeah, I think so.
There's one thing we want to do before we left, because sure, hearing me and Ron say, "Listen to our show," it's kind of pathetic. So we met a guy on the street one time.
Right.
And we're just going to let him tell you about it. He's a famous guy. We're tell you, let's let him know who it is before we start it, because otherwise you won't know the end. You should know when you picture him in your head when you're listening. Mr. Mel Brooks.
It's Mel Brooks. Now this is
genius.
This is a long time ago. This is when was it the first day?
This is the day we were going to our first meeting about Steve. Helped us set up a meeting about getting a show on CKG.
On CKG on CBS.
And we were going up to get it, and we're like, dude, give us a recommendation. And we taped him saying this, and we went up to the program director, GM, whoever was at the time. We're like, hey,
played this.
We're like, hey, listen to Mel Brooks, and then we got the show.
And so he'll also be closing out the show for us.
I think Steve Dahl had more to do with Mel Brooks, probably, but
right. So thanks to the Steve Dahl Network, podcast network, and
yes, thank you.
And thanks to all you guys for checking out.
I know we're analog. It's nice to know that they're taking us under their digital wing.
Right. So we'll end the show with.
Oh, by the way, does Steve know that we're transcribing this to one of those big 16-inch records like they did with the old radio shows?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm actually going to deliver to him.
Right. I mean, does he know? Does he got the equipment there to play a 16-inch platter?
If they're hearing this right now, he does.
Oh.
Hello. This is Mel Brooks. I swear to God. And I met Bob and Ron on the street. I'm talking on the street near a subway here. And these guys really look haggard. And they look like they're hungry. So and they look also smart. Someone has a gleam in their eyes. So listen to Bob and Ron if you get a chance. And even if you don't get a chance, tell Jews everywhere, Bob and Ron are on the air, and they're hip, and they're bright, and they're hungry. So keep in touch. Bye.